Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the brand new Star Trek show, and something that Star Trek Strange New Worlds has accomplished that I have been desperately trying to accomplish on the Dungeons and Dragons side, but we've never reached it. And I want to talk about the ramifications of that. Why was Star Trek able to do this achievement, but we can't do it on Dungeons and Dragons? So let's jump into it. Okay, so spoilers for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Okay, so Star Trek has done this incredible thing. They've launched this new show, and they've abandoned woke and embraced based. Right? I'll define my terms. Woke, I don't need to define woke. It's been around for 10 years. If you don't know what woke is, go look it up. Based is pretty new. It's less than a year old. It's the inverse of woke. It's like cool conservative things that conservatives believe and are core values for conservatives, right? And it's pretty much the opposite of woke. And it's come up because why did we need base to come up, right? Well, the reason why base needed to come up was woke has arrived in a new place, right? Woke won, right? The traditional American family has been completely deconstructed, and now the woke family has replaced it, right? Woke religion. Most people are nuns now, None, and there's a vast running toward no religion and a running out of the churches. Right? I'm an elder in my church, and I can tell you right now, we've never had a darker time in evangelical Christianity as far as attracting new people to it. Right? People are like, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to get married. Traditional family structure isn't there. It's going to be me playing video games or petting my dog forever. What do I need God for, right? It's a tough sell. It's a really tough sell now, right? But here's the kicker, right? Woke won, but now the weight of the society is on woke, right? And they, as the winners, they're responsible to deliver, and they are not. Right? So what's happened is all these old structures are gone, right? And the new structure was supposed to be better, right? But people are like, whoa, this is not better. I feel lonely. I feel alone. I feel bad all the time. I'm not happier. All these Christian and, faith-based movements were putting up built hospitals and did a whole bunch of amazing things that woke culture is 100% not replacing, right? And oh my gosh, we're seeing major fractures in society as woke wins, base loses, but everything's going to heck in a handbasket, right? And so the win is turning very sour in the mouth of the woke winners, right? Because they literally cannot hold the weight that the old traditional model, the based model, held, right? So basically, I love woke D&D, right? Why do I like woke D&D, right? Because it's made by people who don't do it on the weekends as a hobby. It's made by professionals. It has the best art in the world, the best writing in the world, and the best layout in the world, right? But there are a lot of cool old things from based D&D, right? That we're losing. Basically, these core concepts like declarative lore. That's very base D&D. Like declarative lore could tell you what the breath weapon of a blue dragon is. It's lightning, right? New woke D&D is like, oh, I don't know what the breath weapon of a blue dragon is. Some of them do. Typically, they do lightning. Some of them do, air or something else. You can say that woke D&D does not make declarative lore, and that is frustrating because once you say, well, typically this race does X, right? Well, you're like, but if they don't, that means they can do whatever they want, and what's the point of having these races? They're not distinguished in any way, right? So what I really want is I want old base D&D players and dungeon masters to come to woke D&D, where the production values rule and people are actually selling and buying it, right, as a real American capital product, right? But I want that old based energy to get to the table with woke players and woke DMs, and there to be this promised land where we get the experience of these old D&D players and dungeon masters at the table with the new woke D&D DMs and players who are bringing actual real energy and momentum. They're not just literally dying out and wanting the game to die out with them. They want to carry D&D forward, right? So I want these two merged, right? So I am absolutely fascinated by D&D, by Star Trek Strange New Worlds, because it did it. It actually got a major Grognard to engage with it as a Star Trek fan, right? So, there's a link below. Call me Chato. He's an ex Hollywood television executive, right? And he's got that nerdrotic, I'm going to complain about everything sucks today, and back in my day, right? He's got this he's a Star Trek guy, but he's a Star Trek Grognard, right? Just complains nonstop about all new stuff, and literally is making his bones on YouTube, right? Just complaining. Nerdrotic is the same thing. He's like, let me whine at you about a show that doesn't exist, right? I can't believe how much content Nerdrotic is getting out of the new Lord of the Rings Amazon show, which hasn't even aired a minute of a minute of its show, right? And he just I'm making a business out of complaining, right? You're like, okay, right? But this is the thing. This guy, this executive, call me Chato, you'll see the link below, right? He watched the show and said, okay, I see it. They are abandoning all the terrible woke stuff that made this show terrible, and now I am engaging with this show as a viewer and as a Star Trek fan, right? So Star Trek Strange New Worlds got Grognards to come and engage with their content as Star Trek fans. Old fan engaging with the new content and standing right beside the new viewers. That is the promised land I have been trying to get Grognards to. And here's the thing. I look at Wizards Coast and I'm like, why do you guys just do nothing to bring back the old Grognards? And the more I've thought about it, I get it, right? The Grognards, one, they want to whine more than they want to buy and play. That is 100% true in my humble opinion, right? So Wizards of the Coast is like, and we don't need them. They're literally dying out. Why do a thing to save them? I know the reason. We need them. We need these old Grognards to make it so that D&D, woke D&D DMs and players get one more decade to squeeze the juice out of these Grognards, right? The juice of cool, dedicated, excited play with all the old cool energy of old Dungeons and Dragons. And right now, it's a fractured society. It's a fractured D&D community, and Star Trek solved this problem, right? Star Trek abandoned woke and embraced based, right? And they brought their Grognards back, right? I don't think Wizards of the Coast is going to abandon woke. I think they're going to go based. They're not. But I still think there's a path to bring Grognards back to D&D and get one more decade before they all die, right, of harmony, right? And the reason why is not for sales. The Grognards are not going to, the Grognards don't matter for sales anymore. They like to pretend they do. They don't, right? There's so few of them, and they don't buy much, they're not going to buy from Wizards of the Coast anyway. But in my opinion, it's invaluable to get them to merge and have harmony with the woke crowds while they're still alive. And I think there's just an invaluable need to merge these together. And I take such incredible hope from seeing that one IP was able to do this, right? How do we get there on the Dungeons & Dragons side? I don't know, right? I'm going to keep trying. But I will tell you this, I'm incredibly excited to see that it's possible for an IP. Well, that's my opinion. Love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.